Look, holy flow, every ball, fresh up out the tabernacle. Go up with them gangsters that are aiming at your Adam's apple. All my partners in the hood, in the grave, or in them shackles. Love God, but if you in my space, I get inactive. Oh. When I'm in my bag, I'm sharp as cactus. Shout out to them people sleeping on me, acting narcoleptic. Hold on, changes coming, word the sounds of blackness. If they kill me, it won't be like Scarface, more like John the Baptist. Oh. Ready to die for what I believe. Probably why gangsters in every hood really vibe with me. Scotty in football, but low key couldn't hit an Ivy League. See, trying to get the whole squad to check like the Nike team, wifey team. Fat already on it, you could see the sparks. We got married, told her she could lean on me like Mr. Clark. Foreign Park had more animals on it than Noah's Ark. And they told Iron Man put holes in your chest like Tony Stark's. I get liturgical on haters. Grew up with animals that murder for the paper. I spit my verses vertical to feel the flavor. The flow is gravy, you couldn't fade me with a tape. Tabernacle. You in the presence of a G. Tabernacle. What time you speak to lose your teeth? Tabernacle. Hey, you text us a different beat. Tabernacle. 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 I'm painted so you can see the picture. When I spit bars, the hood don't see verses, they see the scripture. Came a long way from sipping liquor and puffing chocolate swishers. Cherubim and seraphim guard my soul like Doberman pinchers. Halate, 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 low. Yahweh, thy way, hydrate, high praise through. Relationship eating gave me some basic tips on how to stay away from them lays, aka basic chips. Told me conversation awaits if I could just make the switch. In my temple, I would resemble that of a laden ship. Bogged down with a heavy load of carrying purpose. Just got my grandpa face tatted across my epidermis. He taught me how to stay cool in a furnace full of serpents. And told me Lucy become a hermit when they don't have permits. Inside your living quarters, me and Fett built this with brick and mortar. Where the Wendy's patties never cutting corners. Yes, she gorgeous, but she also the reason why my torch is burning brighter. And it scorches anything that come near my fortress. I adore this, the feeling is euphoric. Need a thesaurus to find a synonym word that truly highlights my aura. I get liturgical on haters. Grew up with animals that murder for the paper. I spit my verses vertical to feel the flavor. The flow is gravy, you couldn't fade me with a tape. Tabernacle. You in the presence of a G. Tabernacle. What time you speak to lose your teeth? Tabernacle. Hey, you text us a different breed. Tabernacle. 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 Look, I probably rap till I can't stand it all. Plus I've been praying hard knees to my chest like cannonballs. Ran across too many who think they could handle it, dog. But everyone think they can net it till the hammers fall. I spit till I got spackle coming out the sides of my mouth from words I babble, or at least until the shackles on the fragile cattle disguised as humans start to unravel. Word of battle, my feet in the gravel, screaming out, so what? Listen, you'll blow up when you grow up. Stop sipping till you grow up, get your dough up. Got with cocoa and so what? The game's so up. They gon' get me between that bread like a cut. Oh. Game so over, get cold as hockey, kamikaze on that block showing up. So my partners bear us of terror, that's why I rose up. Ain't no need to fear the devil, baby, when God shows up. Amen.
Oops. All right. Okay, so welcome to the Revolutionary Agenda, the RVA. I'm your host, SEDUCTION Doll, and co-host of Frontline Black News, and a regular consistent contributor to Chicago's Black Experience Enhanced. I am joined with my mate, Jane Kruma, from Frontline Black News. Introduce yourself.
Yes, Jane Kruma from Frontline Black News for all the crews, and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, the co-host of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced and co-producer of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced, and next mayor of Denver 2023.
Well, how's that going?
It's going.
Hey, can we talk about that real quick? Can we talk about that real fast?
Yes, go ahead.
I want to talk about the Brother Jeff show the other day. That's what I want to talk about. But yeah, man, I scheduled that in because you're like you don't know what I'm talking about. You were there. Never mind. Let's talk about that. All right, yeah. Be more prepared, sir. Come at you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is my on my mind part 4, and today, some things have happened in the news, and I'd just like to address them a little bit. Go through it. Normally, I don't have Che with me. He kind of like throws me off. So, forgive me. And it's cold in my house, so forget it. I got cold. And the other thing is, sorry, everybody, I look like swollen. Got like too much water on me for my heart. So bear with me. Yeah, thanks for watching. Are you ready, Che?
Yes.
Okay, still more. All right, great. Let's go to my first topic of the night. Is what's going on with Rikers Island? Real quick. Just give you a quick rundown. Me and Jesse Ferris, Che, whatever. We're on Frontline Black News. Jesse. Yeah, right. That's what they call it. Frontline Black News. Talk with me, sir. Engage.
Frontline Black News is
When we talk about the Rikers Island thing.
yes.
Yeah. So anyway, me and him talk about we had addressed the Rikers Island situation.
How do you know if it will fit with your unique school?
Maybe like 3 weeks ago. And I share the screen. And can't remember exactly. He wrote it down. It's late for him, so he's kind of like slow to engage right now. But we talked about this Rikers Island thing. They had put themselves the inmates had put themselves on strike, and it wasn't good. Their conditions are horrible.
Yeah, we talked about it
on hunger strike.
Yeah, we talked about it on episode 45 of the Frontline Black News.
Well, what do we do? We're like episode 49 now coming up, right?
Yeah, the next episode will be episode 49.
I feel like it's all one big running episode some days. You know that was funny. All right. Let's see. Can you see the screen, sir?
Yes.
Excellent. So I'm gonna give you a little context. The source is CBS News, New York, and I just want to go back to October 1st. 1 second. Sorry, I gotta mute myself real quick, okay? So you can hear the YouTube. All right, here we go.
State lawmakers questioned de Blasio administration officials today about the crisis on Rikers Island. This after many of them toured the facility and witnessed the deteriorating conditions. In light of all the progress being touted, CBS 2's Andrea Klein-Thomas introduces us now to a detainee who shares his experiences behind the walls.
39-year-old Melvin Collins has been on Rikers Island for 3 years, awaiting trial on felony burglary charges. We spoke to him by phone. Tell me about the violence.
The officers' lives are in jeopardy is true, and the inmates' lives are in jeopardy too. You have so many violent people coming into jail because of what they're getting picked up off the streets. In order to protect yourself, people have weapons.
You hear the desperation in his voice. Collins is on suicide watch.
I'm not a violent person. I've gotten jumped. I've gotten sexually assaulted. I've gotten stabbed in my face to the point where I had 13 stitches in my face.
Friday, Mayor de Blasio's administration outlined progress being made in front of the State Assembly's Correction Committee, while calling on the courts to take up more cases.
Rikers Island is not a prison, but is being asked to function as one.
400 detainees have left the city jail in the last 2 weeks between the transfer of inmates to state facilities and the release of nonviolent parolees. Add to that addressing overcrowding, upgrading facilities, and increasing access to programming. Still, every day, thousands of correction officers are not coming to work. A shortage, the commissioner said, is contributing to an alarming rise in suicides.
But I would say it's a mix of our inability to be staffed the way we should be and some natural cause deaths.
This hurts so bad to know that young people are dying in our system when they should be getting help.
Advocates held a rally and blocked traffic to send a message to district attorneys and judges to stop sending people to Rikers Island while knowing the dangerous conditions. Meantime, behind the walls, Melvin Collins calls his aunt. Both are unsure what will happen day to day.
I'm trying out here. I know you will, and I'm trying to get home to you in one piece alive.
Okay, we lost Lady Che. But yeah, the hunger strike's been going on for something like 2-3 months, if I'm not mistaken. We lost you, Lady Che.
I know. I'm so sorry. I apologize. We had got me a new mouse and keyboard set. And so what happened was let me fix that. What happened was that this mouse is kind of like a gaming mouse, I guess, and it has a side thumb button. So if you accidentally hit the side thumb button, it just clicks you back to God knows where. It just clicked me out of the StreamYard because that's what I don't really watch the chat, family. So I don't know if anything's going on in on the places I posted this at. So let me put the other invite in there again. So I don't know what's happening. Like really, I don't. Most people got when they do their podcasting, um, they actually have control over both of the chat and their program, and they can watch both and they can answer and blah blah blah. And when Jesse does it, he got like 3 devices. There are 2 devices going on where he's watching the chat and the program. Sometimes he's not even looking at the streamer; he's looking at like 15 things. And I'm like, how do you even know if you're sitting on a camera right? I gotta know. You know, we have a girl. I gotta know. He says, I don't know how you do it, man. How do you do it? How do you do it? So that's your feedback though. You turn the speaker. They were echoing. Okay. Yeah. So that's what happened. This mouse is like all fancy. Well, not fancy. I think it's fancy. Because it's a lot of money. Like a fucking lot of money. It was it like 60 or something? It's like all fancy. Well, not fancy. I think.
Yes, for the whole set.
And it comes with some headphones. It's on your. It comes with headphones. But I don't know. When I let you sit over here to do the show yesterday. Now that I can't make the thing work. I don't know if you messed with it or it's just me or what. Who knows? I want to blame him because it's just easier that way.
It's just you. I need to miss the headset.
I know. It just feels comfortable to blame you for it though. It's a joke. Like, it's your fault. Normally when I say it's his fault, he starts laughing, but today's like whatever. I'm like, it's your fault. You know you messed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he really didn't do it. I don't know how to work it. It's like it's complicated because when you plug it in, it just blows up to this other. It's fucking like I can't explain it. Like volume, treble, bass. You gotta fix all that. So let's get back into it. That's feedback. It's on your side, sir. Okay. I'm gonna go back on mute. Normally he's fucking laughing, but he just I think secretly he likes to make me look like a villain. Cause for real. He's only proving my point, right, Valley? Do you like to see me look like this and you look like that? I'm the villain and you're just not having it.
Yeah, I'm in your chat.
And You say you still can't laugh?
Yeah, I can, but I'm trying to focus on this.
What's up with the chat? Why? Focus on the chat. Get out of the chat, sir. No, I think he likes to make me look like the villain, and so I can look at him like, Just kidding. I'm playing, guys. All right, let's get back into it. I'm gonna mute myself.
At Groupon, you want balance. Be a day to do things with the people you love, whether it's massages with your bestie, wine tastings with mom, date nights with your partner.
So people go to Rikers Island accused of breaking the law, but what's making headlines now is the lawlessness that exists inside the jail.
Here we go again. In an exclusive interview with Pix 11's Ayana Harry from his hospital bed at the Bellevue prison ward, inmate Tyrese Kelly says he was beaten within an inch of his life, claims correctional officers did nothing to protect him. Take a listen.
I'm seeing the walls closing on me.
I understand that Mr. Kelly was tortured for roughly 3 days. He was taken, beaten in all kinds of ways, and is broken in just about every part of his body.
The crisis on Rikers Island surged during the pandemic and prompted 200 inmates to stage a hunger strike, which is now in its 7th day.
New York Times investigative reporter Jan Ransom has been following the developments on Rikers Island closely, and she joins us this morning with a look at what exactly is going on inside the jail complex. Good to see you, Jan. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
I forgot. I had myself on mute. I apologize. Rip, type it. So if you've been following Frontline Black News, then when like Shay said, it was like 48, 43. I don't remember what number it is. They all lately it's been like one big episode for everything I do. But when we covered this, I made these comments like it's just a hunger strike. Feed them men, give them what they want, because they're lucky that somebody hadn't got thrown off a tier, they hadn't kidnapped the guard. You know what I mean? They haven't done a whole bunch of different things. They haven't did some outside work. You know what I mean? Real shit. I was like, I made these comments about that. I was like, man, don't make them go through all this. Well, now on this one I'm showing, it's like I think it was the 14th, so it was like 3 weeks ago, whatever, right? It was like 3 weeks ago. So now it's getting crucial. So let's find out. Oh shit.
Really, really important reporting that you did this week in the New York Times. And Tyrese Kelly, just one of the cases of inmates getting brutalized in Rikers Island, right? So many. You've uncovered even more evidence of gang members running parts of the jail, releasing some of the videos in your article that are just astonishing to see what's happening inside. Tell us about it.
Sure. So in addition to obtaining videos, I also interviewed a young man who was directly impacted by being housed in an area that's predominantly run by gangs. Some of these gang members have been, controlling whether or not people eat, get water, recreation, who gets to live with them. But perhaps among the most disturbing things we found was in this particular housing area, a gang leader was forcing other detainees to fight one another, resulting in some of them being seriously injured.
Yeah, and the scary thing is, it's so bad that a Manhattan Supreme Court judge ordered the release of an inmate who was seriously injured in that Fight Club match. So gang leaders pitting inmates against each other. Has a ruling like this ever happened before?
I can't say it's never happened, but it is really rare. In fact, the judge found that the Department of Correction was incapable of keeping this young man safe. And so, this ruling could have broader implications for other detainees who, make similar claims.
Yeah, you know, I've covered Rikers for quite some time when I was a reporter on the streets, and we've seen the fights inside the jail. And the question is always, where are the correction officers during this, right? Specifically, these Fight Club matches in the video.
Damn. Like Fight Club for reals?
Yeah.
Not like they didn't know that that's what happens over there. Kind of, you know, I really don't feel bad for the jail. Do you? Huh?
Do I feel bad for the jail?
Hell no, I don't feel bad for the jail at all. Yeah, do you feel bad for the jail?
Not really.
All right. Let's carry on.
Videos that you've obtained, where are the correction officers and should they be held accountable here?
Totally. So, I mean, in the video, you can see a correction officer literally watching what is happening. The officer does not intervene. She does not call for backup. In addition to her, there's an officer in what's called a control station. This is an officer who can oversee the housing area as well. That person does not intervene either. In fact, the person I interviewed who was forced to participate in this fight club said that at times the officers would flick the lights on and off to either warn that supervisors were in the area or that they were too loud and needed to calm it down.
In this video, though, is she overrun? What's happening here?
So in this video, the detainee is about to be attacked by a group of other detainees with knives. This officer is by herself, and that's something that we've been seeing a lot of now, especially since the start of pandemic, where there's been high rates of officer absenteeism. This is something that should not be happening. This officer should not be alone. And it takes entirely too long, as you can see, for an officer to open the gate and allow this guard and the detainee to go to safety. This is not something that should have been happening.
But can you blame the lack of having security there just based on COVID? You know, just the fact that the people aren't even there to do their jobs? And I don't think you can really just blame it on that. Or is this happening long before?
Right, and I'm glad you asked that. I mean, you know, we found that a lot of the problems are rooted in the way that the Department of Correction has been deploying people on Rikers Island for decades. And so once COVID hit, we just saw all of that just sort of blow up and cause the problems that we're seeing, where we have housing units that are either completely unmanned or understaffed.
Yeah, you know,
so this has been decades in the making.
Yeah, it has been decades in the making, and I actually feel for that sole correction officer who's there by herself in that one instance, because that must have been a terrifying experience. But you know, I don't know what the answer is here, Jan, but 200 inmates in a day, 7 of a hunger strike now. Newly appointed Correction Commissioner Luis Molina supposedly met with inmates, right? Claims there's no hunger strike. So can you set the record straight? What's happening?
Sure. So my colleague has been covering this extensively, and you know, he found that there is a hunger strike. The detainees are not eating food delivered by the Department of Correction. They have been eating commissary food, but I think what's important here is that they're trying to bring attention to what are really serious concerns here. You have people who don't have access to medical care, mental health care, medication, have not been outside for weeks or months. All of this coming off of a year that was particularly deadly for people in custody. 16 deaths, the highest since 2013. People genuinely fear for their lives. And that's why those detainees are doing that. They're trying to highlight what is a very serious emergency.
Yeah, completely inhumane. Jan Ransom, really important reporting that you've done. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thoughts on that particular episode? Sorry, that particular thing?
I mean, it's bad what's happening to them in there. Under COVID. They're under all kinds of stress. They got all kinds of shit going on. I mean, I guess a hunger strike would be a good idea to get some awareness to the conditions that's going on in there.
I mean, like, they already, they started the hunger strike.
I know they started the hunger strike, but I'm saying, like, the
Yeah.
hunger bringing awareness to what's going on in there.
Yeah. I don't think it's working because I really don't think it's working. I think they
Trying to figure out.
like, I don't understand why it's not working, you know?
Always say what's on your mind. Not when it comes to you. I'm trying to.
Man, BET is like cranking out movies lately.
Brian Ross investigates.
This is 9 days. 9 days ago.
New York City, Rikers Island Prison, a lawless place where guards run so-called fight nights.
They will give us compensation like cigarettes or drugs or food and stuff like that to like do stuff to other inmates. Last incident that I had, I knocked a guy out and I peed on him. The CO paid me to do it.
Horribly overcrowded, and now a new expose.
That I had, I knocked a guy out and I peed on him. The CO paid me to do it.
A CO paid him to pee on somebody.
Wow.
That's fucking crazy.
Horribly overcrowded, and now a new expose about the more than 15 deaths in the last year inside the walls of this despicable place.
Rikers Island has been a national embarrassment. It is a stain on our city.
Plus, the legal troubles for Donald Trump continue to mount. A criminal grand jury now investigating in Georgia and demands for his children to tell what they know. David K. Johnston is here with the latest. And this week's winners and losers in the media. See if you agree with the choices made by the editors of Mediaite.
But these vaccines, these mRNA vaccines, the mRNA COVID vaccines need to be withdrawn from the market now. No one should get them. No one should get boosted.
From the studios of the Law and Crime Trial Network in New York City's Herald Square, this is Brian Ross Investigates. Good evening, and thank you for joining us, and welcome to our friends on Facebook Live. I'm
Did you see
Ross,
Did you see how he said it?
my colleague
Up
Rhonda Schwartz.
the back.
And Rhonda, we begin tonight with a disturbing story about a true house of horrors. The giant New York City jail, Rikers Island, a filthy, lawless, overcrowded place that the new mayor of New York has rightly called a national embarrassment and a stain on the city. Rhonda.
That's right, Brian. And most of the
Huh?
There's a serious echo.
Okay, is it on yours?
No, it's on yours.
You hear it now?
Play the video.
$5,000 plus people held there are only awaiting trial. They haven't been convicted of anything, but their lives are in danger virtually every hour of every day, Brian.
Set on a 400-acre island near LaGuardia Airport in New York City, Rikers Island is one of the world's largest and no doubt worst city jails. And even the repeated exposés of what happens inside the walls here, like this video of a so-called fight night organized by the gangs, overlooked by the guards, have not led to any serious reforms. The fight night video was obtained by the New York Times, and New York channel Pix11 talked to one of the inmates who says he was forced to participate.
They will give us compensation like cigarettes or drugs or food and stuff like that to like do stuff to other inmates. Last incident that I had, I knocked a guy out and I peed on him. The CO paid me to do it.
It is a lawless place where prison gangs, not prison guards, seem to be in charge. Investigative reporters at the New York Post obtained photos.
Okay, did you see how they tossed that lady around?
Yeah.
That shit was crazy right there.
from inside, showing as many as 26 men stuffed into single cells. The New Yorker magazine documented how one young man got lost in the system, held in solitary confinement for almost 3 years without a trial for allegedly stealing a backpack. He later committed suicide.
Rikers Island has been a national embarrassment, and we have ignored it. And for far too long, and the situation there has been unacceptable. It is a stain on our city.
And now New York Magazine has done its own deep dive, documenting how some 15 inmates died at or shortly after leaving Rikers Island last year alone.
And we're joined now by the two journalists from New York Magazine who did that incredible article, Bliss Broyard and Lisa Reardon Seville. Thank you both for being here. Let me start by asking you, who were these men who died and how did they die?
Well, the men ranged from age 24 to 64. 11 out of the 16 that died in New York City custody this year, all but one at Rikers, had mental illness issues or addiction issues. And they died in a variety of ways. In many cases, a factor was there wasn't adequate staff to attend to a medical emergency or to provide a suicide watch in the case where people were at risk from self-harm. So these are people that really are in need of services more than they're in need of sitting in jail.
And Lisa, these are men who, for the most part, were awaiting trial or just there for sort of technical parole violations?
Yeah, and that's true at Rikers across the board. Some 95% of the people incarcerated on Rikers Island are pre-trial, so they have not yet been convicted of the crime that they were arrested for. But for many, particularly during COVID, that extended for weeks, months, and even years.
Incredibly overcrowded, horrible conditions that you documented through these 15 cases. Take me through some of them, Bliss.
Javier Velasco had been in and out of Rikers about 7 different times in the last 10 years. And he was the son of immigrants.
A man the reporters found who struggled with alcohol addiction, accused of domestic abuse.
So the last time that he went in, he said that he was going to kill himself. And he told the arresting officer, he told his wife, Amanda, she told the parole officer, she told the assistant DA, the DA's boss. And they all said that he was manipulating her, that not to take it seriously. So he did have a suicide attempt in Rikers that he was cut down from. So he was rescued kind of just in time. He was moved into suicide watch. And for some reason, perhaps because of staffing shortages, it only went on for 24 hours. And then when the suicide watch was removed, he was successful.
And Lisa, you found the same thing with the cases you've been looking at closely.
Yeah, there are resonances between Javier Velasco's story and that of Issa Abdul Karim.
Locked up for what is called a technical parole violation, failing to report to his parole officer.
He had compromised health. And when he was at Rikers, this was a time when intake was very crowded, sleeping really one on top of another. And he contracted COVID. And he was in the infirmary on and off.
At the time, the New York governor had signed a law ordering the release of those held on such technical parole violations after 30 days.
And he had been there just short of 30 days. So he was not eligible for release. And on his 32nd or 33rd day, Issa Abdul Karim died of a pulmonary embolism linked to his COVID. So this is a story in which this is a man with serious health issues and was not.
Because, like, a pulmonary embolism, that's like a lung clot. You know what I mean? Man, I'm lucky to live through those. Like, remember when I went to the hospital?
Yeah.
I was bleeding, right? All that was like nothing but clots for my lung. So I had the 3 rips in it, right? And then there's that hole there, right? But before that, like I think I had my condition for like maybe 6 years now, right? So I would say the first year, I had 2 pulmonary embolisms. it's a clot in your lung. You know, and it's ready. You could die from it. You could really fucking die from it. And like, I mean, literally was on ICU care, like immediately. And then I think like the third year again, I had my lung tapped. So I was in a nursing home. My lung tapped, and then I had another pulmonary embolism. Almost died. It just come out of nowhere. Like there's like 3 types of embolisms. One, your brain, your lung, or your leg. You know what I mean? And it's always the same for anyone who ever gets embolisms. They're like clots. You know, so I've always got mine in my lung, but I've always thought about it could be in the brain. You know what I mean? Because I suffered so much head trauma. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, well, it could be like, one day I'll just be walking down the street, bam. You know? So, but you see what's happening right there. Like, motherfuckers are in there, like, dude, the way they were all laying down, hand to God. I swear to you, at least 3 times when I went into fucking Arapahoe County here, in the ladies, in the ladies jail,
Yeah.
and I would be able to go into general population. I don't go in general population anymore, but I used to go to general pop. Just booking is like 3 days over here in Arapahoe County, right? So it was like that in the booking cell for 3 motherfucking days with women. 1 restroom, 1 phone, possible TV. You know what I mean? Fucked up. The men got cots, you know what I mean? But in this particular scene, they don't. But that's Jesus Christ. Like, that's a lot of dudes in there. There was probably like 8 women and maybe 9. It's 8 to 10. You know what I mean? In there, in the little cells in Arapahoe County a few years back. You know what I mean? Like, God, I don't even know what that's like anymore, because they just straight take me to I'm sick. They take me to medical. So I don't even fuck around. But the booking's like 3 days long. Still. I'm like, God damn, dude. And he died? Can you imagine? They had them all stacked on each other. Of course he's going to get COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. And their fucking rules are shit.
There on a serious charge, and he died there.
Your excellent reporting is not the first time that journalists have taken a hard look at Rikers Island, yet the place is still open for business, crowded, a house of horrors. Why isn't anything done about it?
Well, it has a very powerful union for their correction officers who are invested in having a large staff. So the union, for example, has not been supportive of Mayor de Blasio and now Mayor Adams' commitment to close Rikers and move to smaller borough-based jails, because part of that plan also requires decarceration.
Right.
But Lisa, is it also fair to say that there is a kind of public apathy about what goes on in jails and prisons? There's not a push to reform from the public.
Well,
we tend to feel that if someone ends up in a jail or prison, they should be there. And we're not always concerned about whether or not they did that crime.
That's how they're doing it in New York, huh?
Yep. Under Eric Adams.
No, before it was under de Blasio.
Yeah, but it's under Eric Adams now.
Yeah, but you see, this is Eric Adams only been on the thing for just a little bit.
Yeah.
That's like you being the mayor now, and you got to pick up all the fucking garbage that Hancock does.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? He's only been the mayor for like a little bit.
Yeah.
What, like a few months?
Yeah.
What can he possibly do, right? Nothing. The way you said it, just think about how you said it right now and apply it to yourself if you become the mayor and Hancock.
Yeah.
How much fucking drama Hancock did?
Uh-huh.
This is the motherfucking alleged house of horrors that's been going on for motherfucking decades, right? And I said, because I don't really necessarily like or agree with what Adams is doing, but I would say, but I didn't mean to say that. And I'm just like, damn, what are you gonna do about it? That's my question too. And You gotta fix all that shit from de Blasio and whoever started that shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But excuse me, I didn't mean to say but. Look at how the community thinks about it though. They're like, well, we tend to think that, if they're in there, they're in there. They did something.
And we're not always concerned about whether or not they did that crime, or what happens to them there. And when the fears of rising crime come up, we tend to revert very quickly back to lock them up, throw away the key. So I think that
that's how they getting down in New York, huh?
Yep.
Soulless.
There's a question as we are dealing with the ravages of a pandemic, with a very complex social moment, to look back and ask, who are we mad at? Who do we want to punish? Who are we afraid of? And also, what kind of society do we want to have? And if we ask those questions, we have to look at our jails and prisons.
Well, Lisa Reardon-Seville and Bliss Royard, thank you so much in the terrific reporting, and it brought a real sharp spotlight on a very serious and long-standing issue. Thank you both for being with us here tonight.
Their thought process is whack.
Up next, the legal troubles of the former president. He called.
Maybe watch that later. They're legal. Their thoughts are whack, man. Like, well, they're in jail. Fuck it. Look, move on. What? Soulless over there, man. They don't give a fuck about. I don't care who they hurt. All right. Is that all you want to say on that?
Yeah.
What would you do different? What would you do different?
I mean, I wouldn't have them packed in there like sardines. I would probably get the people that are on pre-trial out as soon as possible. I mean, the jail's overcrowded. So you got to hire more staff to get people in and out. Like, there's been people in there for weeks that just have a traffic ticket or something. So you got to speed the courts up. But it's COVID. That's the excuse for everything. So
I think like when I hear the excuse of like, cause we've been in COVID for like 2 years. What's the excuse now? You know what I mean? Technically, they've been letting out motherfuckers. People have been moving around, doing the most, going to work, going not to go to work, fucking in and out of restaurants, fucking chilling at the club. The clubs are open. What the fuck is the excuse now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that might have been a worthy motherfucking excuse, maybe like the start, like for the first 8 months, 9 months. Once we moved into two years, you know what I mean? Like, look at us, man. Look how long it took me to get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just a victim of that, man. Like, you're a casualty of that. But I didn't know, you know what I mean? But look how long it took me. 2 motherfucking years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even then, as many Zooms as you do, right? As much work as you do, Mr. Man of the City, much as you do, you didn't get sick.
Yeah.
So, like, there is no motherfucking excuse. Like, people have been in and out of jail. There is a major problem with the jails, though. Even even the prisons here, we talk to Stupid Face, he's like, he's saying that they put, what do I say, individuals that are in transition from one gender to the next into the male cell. I don't know a polite way to say it, man. Versus how I was gonna say it initially. And they separate them just by a different color shirt.
Wow.
Yeah. You know how dangerous that shit is?
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta do one. It's like what it's like the rules of the fucking land, But for those particular individuals that want to transition or behave like, and they end up being in the male. They're obviously men. That's the point. They're in that kind of mental condition, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say it. Without saying it like the way I'm thinking about it. That's dangerous shit.
Yeah.
Cause the jails act like that here. They act like that everywhere. Not one jail or prison that acts like it's kosher. You know?
Right.
That's all you gotta say? Nothing else? Okay, cool. Alright, so let's move on. We're gonna talk about next Black Lives Matter thing. Just came on. Let me share this out. I think it just happened a couple days ago or today, I don't remember. I'm gonna share the screen though. I gotta look at the YouTube man. One second.
He puts the camera over in that direction, and everyone looking in that direction at that moment saw it. You can make contact with.
It's unclear whether the money was transferred from BLM.
It's echoing again.
Living in America as a black person, you recognize there is one set of laws for you and one set of laws for those, especially in the white community. In our book, Passive Aggressive Racism in the System of White Supremacy, I take you through times in my life when I first started noticing white supremacy. We teach you how to recognize it, identify it, and also counter it in our book. This book is a beginner's course for those that are just starting to wake up and open their eyes to see the system of white supremacy. As a Black American person, you must understand this system because this system is life or death to you. How you handle it, how you deal with it, it can affect your mental health if you don't understand this system. Pick up our book, Passive Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy, today on Amazon. So Black Lives Matter, once again, is in the news. And, you know, we knew that this Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation has been finessing a lot of the money that people had donated. Now, you remember Black Lives Matter just went in the underground, didn't know where they was at until George Floyd. And then they just pop up out of nowhere. Hey, you know, we back, Black Lives Matter. And here, come donate money over here. And then they had got $90 million. And then now people are wondering, like, what happened to all this money? Now, Black Lives Matter, which is that came out recently, has transferred millions of dollars to a Canadian charity run by the wife of co-founder Patrice Cullors. It's according to a report which was used to buy a $6.3 million Toronto mansion to house an art center. It said news of the transfer of money to the Canadian group has raised further questions about the transparency and accountability within the Black Lives Matter. Said coming days after auditors said an inquiry into the handling of BLM's $60 million war chest was necessary, and less than a year after Cullors was forced to stand down amid questions about her own property empire. Now, Black Lives Matter Canada announced in July 2021 they had recently purchased a 3-story Victorian mansion in the Baldwin Village area of Toronto, close to downtown. The imposing red brick house was previously the headquarters of the Communist Party, but on Saturday, the New York Post reported that the funds to purchase the property came from Black Lives Matter and were transferred from the global network to M4BJ, a Toronto-based nonprofit set up by Janaya Khan and other Canadian activists. A Khan is the spouse of BLM co-founder Patrice Cullors. A Khan and Cullors were married in 2016 and have 2 children. Oh boy, if I was on my website right now, I really would go there, but I'm not. Cullors stepped down as executive director on the Black Lives Matter Global Network in May 2021 amid the scrutiny of a $3.2 million property empire. It was unclear whether the money was transferred from BLM to M4BJ before or after Cullors stepped down, and why the money went to M4BJ rather than directly to BLM Canada's affiliates. It said neither BLM Canada nor Khan has responded or requested the comment. Now, the property at 24 Cecil Street is home to the Wild Seed Center for Art and Activism, and the con is now listed among the executive team or staff at the site. Last week, charity artists expressed alarm at the management of BLM's $60 million in donations after it emerged that the people announced as leading to the organization never took up the role, and no one seemed able to say who was handling the finances. The most recent tax filing for the charity from 2019 gives an address in Los Angeles that does not exist, and 2 remaining BLM directors identified were not able to assist, and one even scrubbed BLM associations from the social media after he was contacted by the paper. So they are yet to file a 2020 return, a Form 990 as required, which could see BLM fined by the IRS. Let's say Laurie Styron is executive director of Charity Watch, said the findings were deeply troubling and said they should have filed their 2020 form by now. Yes, they're supposed to file your form every year. That's
goddamn, dude.
On top of that,
Like in 2022.
they're saying that if they don't
tax
really
evasion.
start being transparent and saying where this money going, that some people may start getting some charges put on them.
There should have been charges on them.
Let me
What
say
happened to the
something.
other 30 million though?
This is what happens when you allow the white liberal to come in and start finessing, and they're gonna leave you hanging with some charges, because it is illegal to take from a nonprofit and do things outside of what you're supposed to do for that nonprofit. What do black people in Canada need with that mansion?
Now the whole
What do
thing
you do
did
with black people with the mansion in Canada?
you know who was talking about with the
George
building.
Floyd happened here.
Remember?
All that money that you raised for George Floyd. Why are you buying mansions in Canada? What are you doing for George Floyd's family? What are you doing for the Black American people here who still dealing with issues and problems? Black Lives Matter. This is why we don't support you as an organization. You remember I had put up a report a year ago showing how the white liberal group, the Tide Center, was all involved, and all the money they was giving out was going to LGBT groups.
Ooh.
Everything that associated with LGBT had nothing to do with black people as a community or anything. This was all the money
That
was
shit
going.
heavy, remember?
That's why I told y'all, if you want to help somebody and somebody's putting in the work in the community, give it to those individuals directly. Like if they got a Cash App, if they got a Venmo or PayPal, if they got something, how you want to donate to them. Even if they have their own website or something, you can donate on their own website, do that. Because these organizations, if you start seeing you start seeing too many, like Black Lives Matter was all on TV. These women was propped up in the media. The white media is not going to prop up black empowerment.
Hell
I
no,
want to
they're
repeat
not.
that again. The white media is not going to prop up black empowerment. If you see them propping up these
Right,
black
babe?
folk,
At Groupon,
They're not gonna do that, right?
It's a day to do the things you love with the people you love.
Huh?
Whether it's massages with your bestie,
Oh.
paintings with
folks,
You're
you
not
never
gonna
know where they come from. You never seen them nowhere. You never heard of them before. But now, hey,
told
this
you
is your
already,
leader,
look.
black people. Listen to them. You remember D. Ray McKesson and Netta? Remember them? Where are they now? Now you, Patrice Cullors, she got her bag and trying to move around and all that. You know, Alicia Garza. You know, everybody got their bag and kind of moving around. Nobody ain't talking about Black Lives Matter no more. If you're really passionate about Black Lives Matter, nobody can cash you out. Nobody can cash you out because you serious about that. You serious about your people. You are, right? Back in the time of Ferguson, brothers like Darren Seals were warning about this, and this brother lost his life behind it too. He was warning like, hey, them folks need to get out of here. They don't belong here. This is not their fight. This is not anything. Because it was all coming down at a finesse bag. And when y'all gonna learn about that? When are y'all gonna learn? When you see them folks coming around, you get real suspicious. I'm like, wait a minute. Don't come out here with me when it's time to if we getting on the streets. Don't come out here. Because you could have done something a long time ago. I'm suspicious about you coming out here regardless, because to me, I'm gonna believe you coming out here, either you police or you just trying to keep tabs on black people. Or you trying to film what black people are doing so you can go report to the police? I don't trust none of you, because if you was really about a quote unquote ally, why don't you an ally when you run for office? Why don't you an ally when it's time to go to the courtroom? Where your allyship then? What about on the job? What about in banking? When black people trying to get home loans, business loans, where's your allyship then? I don't need you out here and it's in the streets, no. Because at least during the civil rights movement, it was a community that was out there on the streets for the most part. Now you got all these different groups worming their way in the midst of protests of black people, and they putting up signs like we saw these white females put up signs talking about they love black men because of their phallus. That's the kind of signs we get in the middle of those protests.
Ooh.
You understand?
I'm mad.
They're just muddying the waters. Just like Malcolm X said, you want to be a quote unquote ally? Cool. Well, you need to be sitting over there when you do it. You can't lead nothing. You're not gonna be on the council of anything. But if you want to be an ally, you want to donate money, cool, no problem. You want to donate supplies, you want to do whatever you can to help. That's the great part of being an ally. But you cannot be on the board and you can't run nothing. You can't be part of the money. You can't be part of anything. You can't. You personally got to go through the pain and suffering of what the black man and black woman go through in America to be a part of anything. If you can't relate to that pain and suffering because you went through it personally, then no. But you can be an ally from the outside, no problem. We can accept that.
We have to.
But let's see what happens. But see, it lets black folks know the next time, because see, we know it's gonna be a next time. When the next time something happens, don't give your money to no Black Lives Matter. If you don't know these people, you haven't seen them at all, you don't know their track record, you don't know anything. Like I say, where these black folks come from, you gotta get suspicious. Why are they being propped up in the white media? Immediately get suspicious. You start researching them. You can't find no evidence about them. You can't find out where they went to high school. You can't find out what city they grew up in. You can't find nobody that knew them. Their Facebook page looks way too clean. You know, like I said, like they don't have nothing on there to make them look normal. Get suspicious, folks. Get suspicious. Don't trust people you don't know that showed up. At least let somebody be like, okay, we know him, we know her, we've been seeing them for years. Understand? Because notice the people you know for years and never prop up. But they get these people to come out the blue talking about they are a representative. But leave me a comment. Let us think about the situation with this finesse with Black Lives Matter. You know, just stealing money from people. And I say from people because people from all groups gave money to Black Lives Matter. But we called out Black Lives Matter a long time ago. Their original website said they wanted to destroy the nuclear family, which means one man, one woman, and children. They said that a long time ago. They were promoting LGBT, and that does not help black people at all. We need more of the nuclear family, period.
Hello, everybody. This is Mark Bland from the Real South Africa.
Ain't lying.
Oh.
That shit's been a fucking they turned it. It's been they called that out a long time ago. It's been like that. But God, man, and it still makes me mad. You know what I mean? Like it was never not said that fucking like what happened to it started out with 90 million. Now we're at 60 million. What happened to the 30 million?
Right. There's no transparency with where the money's going.
Nah, and that's major tax evasion or some shit like that. You don't pay your taxes. You're not filing your taxes. That's like, I mean, ooh, and taking it from a non-profit. Ooh, that's like that. That was like that little scandal at the, with the purple building, man. Right? And I was like, ooh, like embezzlement, money. There's a whole bunch of things going on over there. And it's like they should never that particular thing should never ask for money ever again. Cause look, or don't. I mean, like, what the fuck? Don't even get involved. But the way he was saying, signs in the middle of the other signs, talking about a man's endowment or whatever. That shit is fucking crazy. Who does that? You know what I mean? In the middle of a fucking protest, activism and stuff like that, like protesting for the rights of a life or whatever. Like, who does that? Raggedy ass motherfucker. Why would you do something like that? You know? It's crazy. All right. There's only 2 more left. That's it. We're moving quickly, so let's talk about what's going on over here. This city right here. Hold on, let me share the. You okay?
Yeah.
I don't feel good. It's really cold out. Like, what is it? 25? It's like 25. It feels like it's 10.
23.
I know it's 25 over here though. It says it's 25 over here. Anyway, it's 2 degrees higher over here. And it feels like on my heart, it feels like, oh my God. Super cold. Okay. I'm gonna run through this quick. I only got one right here. Let me see this real fast. Because I don't even know what you thought about it. It's been in the news all day. It's really, really bad. Sorry, I couldn't see really well. You see it? You can see it, right? Okay, good. Oops. Oops. Oops.
22-year-old Amir. Tonight, anger and frustration pouring out into the streets from New York to Minneapolis. Overnight, horns and lights blaring in protest after Minneapolis police shot and killed 22-year-old Amir Locke after entering an apartment on a no-knock warrant that police now say Locke wasn't listed on. Body cam video capturing the deadly encounter on Wednesday, just before 7 a.m. In seconds, officers enter the apartment where Locke appears to be under a blanket. Police say a gun slides from underneath and officers open fire. NBC News has reached out to the officer for comment, but has yet to hear back. That decision took the life of Karen Wells and Andre Locke's son.
That's the moment when the officer had to make a split-second decision.
Put yourselves in our shoes.
Never would I have imagined that I would be standing up here talking about the execution of my son by the Minneapolis Police Department.
Another Black life taken by police nearly 2 years after Breonna Taylor was killed while officers carried.
I mean, don't you think like she should be looking more not just angry, but like emotional?
Yeah.
That's it too. Okay. So you're like, most of them like, gotta pick them up off the ground,
Yeah.
Real shit.
Carried out a no-knock warrant. Now the mayor of Minneapolis placing a moratorium on the controversial policy.
Everyone knows about the dangers of no-knock warrants from Breonna Taylor and so many others who have died that way.
We tired. I got on the phone. I was so emotionally.
Is that Crump's ambulance chasing ass?
Yep.
Like, stay off the motherfucking TV, Big Crump. He's like in everybody's case, but my favorite guy's case. Right? He is in everybody's case, like 3 in the last month or 2. Except for my favorite character. I'm gonna write that dude a letter.
White people.
Yeah, but both the character, both families are Black.
Yeah, but your boy killed white people. Ben Crump it's not gonna represent that. It only represents cases where it's Black people getting killed by white people.
I'm like, what's the man? I knew there's some sort of propaganda with it. What's the difference? Huh? Makes no sense to me. Well, okay. I guess you're right. We'll talk about this later. I'm like, huh? Good point, babe. Thank you, babe. I'm making it work in my head.
Spent with Andre and Karen. We just tired of it.
Mute.
But their fight for justice continues. Megan Fitzgerald, NBC News.
Thanks for watching
Our YouTube channel. Follow today's top.
Okay. Whoa.
You want your videos to look amazing, right? Part of that is shooting it correctly. But you know what a lot of people don't do? It's adding professional elements like this. Or this. Look at us. Which one would you keep watching? Which of us looks better? It used to be that if you wanted this level of professional quality, you'd either have to pay a professional editor or buy expensive.
Meanwhile, members of the Minneapolis community are also demanding answers.
And that includes gun rights advocates. Caroline Cummings reports.
And the city of Minneapolis needs to wake up and come to realization that we are in trauma.
Pain is palpable among Minneapolis residents outraged over the police killing of Amir Locke, demanding answers about how it could have happened that Locke lost his life during the execution of a search warrant.
Is that a key? Did they just use a key to open this motherfucking door? Look.
Drop the door.
Look.
Killing of Amir Locke, demanding answers about how it could have happened that Locke lost his life during the
Is that a key?
Yeah, yes, that's the key.
How the fuck they knock? They had a key. I mean, that kind of looks like, motherfucking execution to me too.
That's why it's called a no-knock raid. They didn't knock.
They didn't knock, but Jesus Christ, like, what the fuck? They just use the key. Wowzers.
execution of a search warrant he wasn't even on.
How did 9 seconds of an arrest warrant or a search warrant end up with a man's life?
For members of the community group, the Unity Community Mediation Team that's tried to partner with the Minneapolis Police Department for 2 decades, this news feels all too familiar.
As a young black man myself, I couldn't sleep last night because I seen my nephew, I seen myself when I was younger, and I seen my young son as he get older. And I asked myself, is this the reality that they gonna have to live?
Locke's family says he lawfully owned a gun with a permit to carry.
Amir was a gun carrying licensed individual. NRA should be excited about that.
And gun rights advocates say this raises alarm since last year was a record.
He like they said, he wasn't even on the warrant. That's his house, right? And he's licensed to have a gun. They came in his house. They didn't, you know what I mean?
Right.
Why wouldn't you expect him to reach for a pistol?
Right.
That's like a make my day thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they creeping around the hallway and they go into your house, right? This could happen to any of us, right? Like hypothetically, right? Me, like let's say we're in my house, right? And hypothetically, I have a pistol. I'm registered to have it, right?
Uh-huh.
And I have a pistol. Nobody knocks on the door. All of a sudden, somebody walks up in my house, and because of where I live or whatever, let's factor that in. Where I live, motherfucker, I just got this. You see what I'm saying? That's a natural, like even right now with me, right?
Right.
Just near my house, I got like little knives and shit. And knives everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I just turn around, grab a motherfucking knife, like I'm ready to just get down, like what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
And I would get shot in my own crib because he startled me, or I got scared, because that's probably what happens, like anybody, you anybody walk up in your house like that, you don't know, you were expected. B, you don't know who to turn around and then you get killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah, of course the city's gonna be an uprising. Of course the family's gonna be upset. Of course it's like shit. There are like three motherfuckers that died like that here in Colorado, like over the last couple of years with no knock warrants, and they justified it because well, we had a warrant. He was a alleged methamphetamine cook or some shit. Like it's like stupid, you know what I mean? And it's like, God, man, no, he had a pistol. Well, yeah. A lot of motherfuckers have pistols in their house or rifles or machetes, things like that. I mean, it's a fucking dangerous world. Dangerous world for us.
Right.
Dangerous, sir. You know what I mean? So it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it'd have been worse if he would have capped him. Or been bucked off around, you know what I mean? I think it'd been way, I mean, it is worse. It's bad. Either way, I don't think he's wrong for they don't show the camera if he had a pistol or not. But I'm just saying, what if he didn't? What if they made that up? Even if they didn't, you're in your house and you're registered, you're licensed to carry it. The fuck? No wonder everybody's
We're
mad.
here for gun ownership.
So now every day we're entering into a situation where law enforcement officers may encounter somebody who is lawfully armed inside their home. The use of no-knock warrants is counteractive to that right to self-defense.
Caroline Cummings, WCCO 4 News.
What does that mean? Like, when he words it like that, what does that mean?
What
like,
is
it doesn't
what?
work? It's counteractive. What do you mean? What does he mean by that?
What do you mean it's counteractive?
Aren't you listening?
Counteractive to that right to self-defense.
Caroline Cummings, WCCO.
Law enforcement officers may encounter somebody who is lawfully armed inside their home. The use of no-knock warrants is counteractive to that right to self-defense.
Caroline Cummings, WCCO 4 News.
Tonight, the governor is authorizing the National Guard to be ready in case they're needed.
So what does that mean? It means it doesn't matter because they're the police and they had. But at the same time, they said that he wasn't on the warrant.
To help with public safety. St. Paul originally asked because of the ongoing federal trial for the 3 officers in the George Floyd case. But this means that the Guard is ready if Minneapolis needs any extra support. Prosecutors charged 2 young men with murder today in the
same state that George Floyd died, right?
Yep.
That's bad luck for police in there, that state.
And Philando Castile.
Yeah, that's really bad luck. Really bad luck. All right, one more. You want to do the... Yeah, we'll do one. Nah, I don't know. I'll look at it. Okay. That fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
They're already protesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I started to look at it like Minnesota must like their city being fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of cities are like, you know, when they like, look at ours when we had the protesting down here. And it was like the city was
a war zone.
Up. It was fucked up. It was like a war zone. For real. I was like, damn, they might, you know, like Minnesota started fucking their city up. Okay, so this is about the new about Biden's choice for a Supreme Court justice, but I think it's actually going on the Federal Reserve Board.
The only place where we may see a black woman make history.
We could also see the first Black woman get a seat on the Federal Reserve's 7-member board of governors. If confirmed, Lisa Cook, a renowned economist and professor of economics and international relations at Michigan State University, would be the first Black woman to ever serve on the board in its 108-year history. Last year, Cook was elected to a 3-year term on the board of directors at the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. Cook was also a senior economist at the President's Council on Economic Advisors under the Obama administration. We actually had Lisa Cook on this show back in October to speak to us about Black unemployment.
There is an even split for the Black unemployment rate between those who have exited the labor force altogether, over 100,000, and those who have gone into employment. So for us, it really is a more nuanced story and troubling story.
Man, that Zoom is just makes me feel so comfortable.
Do the things you love with the
You know what I mean?
love. Whether it's
Like she didn't even try to
your
get ready.
wine tastings with mom, date night.
You know what I mean?
But even with all of her experience, Cook is already facing what Biden's Supreme Court nominee may face. According to a report on the Huffington Post, Cook is facing a racist smear campaign from Republicans and conservatives who demand Biden pick someone else. Former Donald Trump advisor Peter Navarro told the right-wing Daily Caller, Professor Cook is more qualified to coach an NFL team than manage what may become a looming collapse of our economy. And as an economist at the conservative Hoover Institute said, Cook should only be considered if the job is to bring the administration and progressive supporters' racial policies to the Fed. Joining me now to discuss is Professor of Economics and Urban Policy at the New School, Derek Hamilton. So, Derek, what is their objection to Ms. Cook? You know, her resume is incredible. I do not understand the criticism here. Is there any truth to any validity to the objection?
Not at all. I mean, the fear and the critique is grounded in the fact that, as you demonstrated in the segment that you showed her, she's going to challenge the status quo. She's not just going to look at price stability for the purposes of maintaining the wealth of those that have, but she's going to look at price stability in a context of ensuring that we're not sacrificing the economic inclusion of segments of the population, namely Black people as well as other people that have been marginalized.
So the HuffPost notes that other people on the board, even Jerome Powell, the current Fed chair, they were not necessarily experts in this area, and yet they did not face the same kind of backlash. You know, how do they make sense of this? I mean, it's hypocrisy just run amok. We get so used to saying it, so used to seeing it that it kind of it becomes numb to us. But is that just what this is?
I mean, and it's racialized. I mean, we question the qualifications of a Black person, but you know, in reality, the Fed chair is a lawyer. I mean, I'm not questioning his qualifications because you need not have to be an economist to be at the Fed. But the reality is, Lisa Cook is genuinely an economist, and an economist at a leading top research university who's been doing this work.
You may not want me to be an economist, but you know, I'm just, you know, armchair quarterback, and I want my people at the Fed to be an economist. That's just me. I maybe call me crazy. I don't know if that's what's going on here. But you know, what do you think her chances are of overcoming the objections?
You know, I don't know how the politics are going to play out. I hope we stand by her. We've seen in the past that with the threat of a backlash, sometimes Democratic leadership abandons their own. I think we need to stand up to this and not kick the ball down the road. Clearly, she's qualified. Clearly, she's going to make a difference. And I, for one, am proud of this. She's there, but more so than being proud of her personally, she really has demonstrated a body of work that takes nuanced data and uses that in a way that is promoting human well-being. We need to get beyond the formulaic approaches, because what's been happening hasn't been happening to the benefit of the vast majority of Americans. I mean, the reality is that we have a concentration of wealth and power at the top that is obscene, that we have not seen since the Gilded Age. Now, the Fed has a dual mandate: employment stability as well as price stability. And they focus mostly on the price stability part of that dual mandate. But abducting the employment stability and our economic welfare in general is a problem.
So help our viewers understand how much power one person among seven would have, on this board of governors. We are used to, councils of people like the Supreme Court. The case comes before them, they vote, whatever the majority is wins. They ask questions of whatever. How does the Fed work? How does this board work? Is the policy presented by the Fed chair, or how does the power play work and the dynamic work within the board of governors?
The Fed chair controls the agenda, but as you alluded to, there's 7 members. So even the appointment of Lisa Cook, we should temper our expectations, even if we want to see dramatic change, because the reality is that she's one among 7 that gets to help decide the direction of our monetary policy.
Do they do it by vote? Do they have areas of expertise that they recommend on? How's that work?
Well, they will vote, and this is the point also why you want a diversity of opinion. I mean, if you get everybody with the same viewpoint, everybody with the same background, then you just develop a momentum without that nuance, without capturing the understanding of other underlying factors, without bringing in insights that might buck the status quo.
Let's pull back a little bit and just talk about how it is that this can even be the first. A lot of people want to get rid of the first. Even the people who become the first hate the fact that they are the first, because they think, how is this possible that I am the first in 2022 or whenever? How is it that this space, this bubble, has not been kind of integrated in a way that would have included Black women?
We know the history of America. I mean, that is the seat of power, and we've excluded it. I mean, fortunately, there has been a black people there. Andrew Bremer was there. And then, we shouldn't even lose sight of the fact that Joe Biden nominated Lisa Cook, but another very well qualified Black person, Philip Jefferson, who also, so now we have at least 2 that will serve on this board now.
All right, so Derek, you have told me not to get my hopes up. Even if she's, confirmed and on this board, I should not automatically assume that we Black people own all my money. I won't say that, and they won't give out checks. All right, Derek Hamilton, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate your time. Hey.
I think it's fucked up, but okay, look, I have 2 thoughts. One, I think it's fucked up that they already starting up with their nonsense, and the other thing is that one question: do you think this is a form of symbolism on behalf of Biden, and is he gonna use these 2 or this woman to try to fix his approval ratings and win a little bit of favor with the Black vote? Question mark.
Yes, and more yes.
I thought so too. I mean, that's the tragedy that he gonna try to maybe, because he's looking horrible, like majorly horrible amongst, the Black community. But like this is like another form of symbolism, except with people, it's like a pawn. So I feel deeply sorry for them, because that's what I would think it is that he's doing. Like, oh well, did say I was going to do this. I at least put somebody in the seat. I told the black people that I was going to do it. So here. But let's find the best ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird, like, no, it's not weird, actually. And you do want somebody to be able to do economics. You know? It's kind of what we need. At the same time, it's not for, like, you just have to think, like, see, is this, like, I almost feel bad for them because it's like a game, you know what I mean? And that's terrible. But at this, and it's at this time where we're at war, really at war, you know what I mean? With the dominant society, you know what I mean? And he's like the horrible president, you know?
Right.
It's really crazy. So, what did you think?
What did I think? It's just more symbolism as usual.
Yep. That's what it sounded like to me.
There's nothing tangible about any of this.
Yeah, it sucks. Well, he brings us to the end of tonight's broadcast. Do you wanna But I just want to say I know I gotta go. It's super cold and my heart's starting to hurt. Do you have any closing statements, babe? Anything to say?
Yeah. Our hearts and prayers go out to the family of Eric Locke. That's very unfortunate, very tragic that he was killed while at home, while sleeping. In regards to the other things that were discussed tonight, just keep your head on a swivel, Black family. And like I said, if they're not offering no tangibles, don't even focus on it. It's a waste of time. So check us out on Tuesday for Tobacco's Black Experience Enhanced. Expect the unexpected. The call-in number is 516-418-5996. And press 1 and you'll be added to the queue. And check us out on Frontline Black News on Saturday. And the Revolutionary Agenda at its regular scheduled time on Thursday. Love, light, and Black empowerment.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on. No, it's late, but you know I should just thank you for coming on. It's fucking cold. Close this out real quick with a song and yeah, let me do that. It is freezing for some reason. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, family. Also, if you're watching, you know, I don't know, like what, just any ideas where we can help them, bring some light to the Rikers Island thing, because, man, we can only worry you so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this starting to get crucial in there. I mean, the fact that you have anybody killing themselves just regarding the county is like crazy. After 30 days. And, you know, how much you gotta do, Eric, what is it, Eric Adams? Right? So like the new mayor, but you need to fix that for reals. Be reasonable about it too. You know? Tuesday Shabaka show and join us on Blog Talk. Thank you for participating, babe.
Welcome.
I'm gonna play this real quick and I'm gonna close out the show real quick. Stay black, stay dangerous for sure. What was it? Commercials.
Dinner. It's more than just a meal you make every night. It's a chance to...
If you don't like what I say or do, pretty please mistakes for your sake and mine. Unfollow me.
You just think that's funny? It is funny.
If I make you feel some type of way, if low key you just here to hate, don't be in my comments, write no essay. Not tomorrow, gon' do it today. Don't swipe just, don't scroll just, before you leave on my page. Don't come back this way. Don't like what I'm into. What the hell is within you? Don't care what you been through. Don't mean to offend you. Just unfollow me.
Did you kind of feel like you were at church right there?
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
I felt like I was like, I felt like it was at church for reals. Alright, peace, family. Be back soon.